Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie from Nourishment Redacted. Welcome to Lioness Lifestyle Live. This is a show where we honor a keto, carnivore, and meat-based woman. They share their experiences, their healing journey to inspire and bring our community together. And my phone just went off. I'm so professional. I'll mute that. Cristie,
You're fired.
Please.
And
Don't
I
hit
am
the right
Cristie
button.
from Meeting Wellness. And as always, it's so nice to meet with all of our lions and lionesses this evening. My phone is already on mute, so it's not going to go off. But we have all been inspired by someone's story. We believe here at Lioness Lifestyle that sharing stories is one of the best ways to help people who are sick and without hope.
And I'm Adrian K. Gledhill, and we're here to just uplift each other through our stories of healing and hope. If you have any questions for us tonight, because this is a solo episode, please put a QQQ or a question in front, and we will be sure to get to it.
Awesome. And now that means that it is time for this week's Roar of the Week. We took a screenshot of this from last week's show because it was right at the end of the show, and Lewis L. chimed in with a great show, one of the best. So thank you so much, Lewis, for being this week's Roar of the Week. If you want to be shouted out on next week's show, then after the show, or hey, maybe we'll grab a screenshot of your comment during the show. You don't know what we're going to do around here. We're unpredictable, but drop us a comment and we will hunt through them and we will pop it on the screen and shout you out for next week's episode. And Ellie's frozen. I was counting on Ellie and she's frozen. And
she's
gone.
No. Well, there she is.
Ta-da! You're up, Ellie. What timing?
Okay. Do we do the roar?
We did the roar. And then I was counting on you to start talking. And then I was like, oh, she's frozen.
Me. Okay. So we're going to have a roundabout conversation. This episode, we're going to talk about why we're eating a meat-based diet when we live in a plant-based world. I think we can all kind of see how schools and TV shows and our culture in general just tends to lean towards a plant-based lifestyle. So, if you're faced with like social pressure or the misinformation or judgment from your families and friends, we want to talk about that today. And we want to help you by sharing our experiences. And we hope that it can give you some confidence so that we can, be proud to be carnivores because we're so healthy and we're doing so well. I'll go first, but then we'll go around and we're going to talk about sharing a personal story of like how you had to defend your choices, like being a carnivore in a plant-based world. So I think the best example is that when my family found out about me wanting to make the whole family carnivore, that was a really big deal. I'll just say a family member, an important family member, kind of called me and told me about how I'm going to regret eating this way. And then I'm going to regret the harm I'm going to do to my children. And that really cut like a little bit like a knife. And, they just kept saying, why can't you eat some vegetables? Why can't you just exercise more? Why? That's nice that your mental health, your constipation, and your obesity is like all gone, or your mental health is better, I should say. And it's like basically just belittled me to a point of like, okay, all of these things, these milestones that I've reached, they don't matter because they don't match what you think is right. And so it's really hard to have to defend yourself because I'm a bit of a peacekeeper. I'm somebody who doesn't like to have arguments. I really don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. So even if it means standing up for myself, and even if it means that I have to just show that I know what I'm doing and I'm a confident person and I'm taking charge of my life for once instead of being stuck in my bed for 5+ years and not working and not going to school, and I didn't have a family and my values were all out of whack and I was addicted to, media, and I was binging, overeating and all that stuff. So I'm so glad we're talking about this. I think this is an important topic. I'm going to throw it over to Cristie. Please share a story where you had to defend your choices.
Yeah, so I had an instance at work. You were talking about with a family member, and boy, I've had some of those too. But I'm going to share a work story. So, and when I was at work one day, I was talking to my school secretary because I'm a teacher, and we were actually talking about both of us having thyroid issues, and I was sharing with her the thyroid. Was taking like a beef thyroid supplement to see if that might help me. And actually, she was taking one too, which I thought was cool. And hers actually had more beef thyroid in it. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. And whatever. I actually am taking that brand now. So that was super helpful because it does seem to be helping me. But after that, she was telling me we started talking about what we're doing to be healthy. And she's telling me how, she's from Mexico originally. And she was like, yes, I just got back from this retreat because we had gotten back from a break from school. And she's like, I just got back from this retreat. We went to this resort in Mexico and it was super healthy. And we ate vegan for a week. Like everything was vegan and it was so healthy. And I was just like, so this is like, I'm not really defending my own choices, but I'm pretty sure she knows I eat meat, right? And so I said, gosh, I didn't really know exactly how to respond. I didn't want to say, yeah, that was so healthy because I don't think it was. So I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, did you get, sick of eating that way even after, I said, were you hungry? And she said, yeah, really by the end of it, I didn't even want one more salad. And then I said, and what about like, weren't you worried about missing out on your vitamins? And she goes, well, they gave us like supplements every day. So even they knew where they were, like they had their vegan food and then here's your supplements for the day to make sure that you have your, B12 and everything like that. But there's other times at work. I know this is kind of a second story, but today a student came back to class after we had dismissed everyone. This was literally just today. And he's been very forgetful lately. And I was like, hey, bud, like what's going on with you being so forgetful? He came back to the classroom because he had forgotten, I don't know what, his jacket or something. And he's like, I don't know, I've just been so forgetful. And I said, well, you need to eat less junk food and more meat. And he goes, really? What does meat have in it that's good for you? And I was like, well, I said, let me tell you. And so I said, it's really like more of the fat that's in the meat that's going to be really good for your brain. And then I said, do you like seafood? I love seafood. And I said, oh, those omega-3s in there. He's like, well, I know what I'm having for dinner tonight. So I was like, okay, I got one. And so tomorrow I'm going to ask him, did you have seafood and what did you have? So we'll see if mom will, cause he's 11, right? So he's going to have to ask his mom if he can have seafood. I'm going to find out if he got some fish tonight for dinner. We're going to find out. So the kids kind of know, but I can't be super overt, about it. But every chance I get, I'm like, okay, look at that label. Is there even anything on there that you can pronounce? What protein is in there? Oh, none. How about let's eat some cheese. Let's eat eat the meat on this burger that they're giving you. So, but I thought that was kind of, it was a teachable moment. In education, we call those teachable moments. This kid has been very forgetful lately. And I'm like, look, buddy, let's eat some fat and get some meat. And that might help you not be quite so forgetful. Adrian, I'm going to toss it over to you. Do you have a story for us about defending your choices in this plant-based world that we're living in?
I do. But the thing is that this is kind of a hard one to come up with for a second because I have built a community around myself of friends and family who eat like I do, or people who just understand how sick I get if I don't eat the way I do. And most of the people that are in my everyday life don't want to see me sick. And so they completely, I'm surrounded. Now I even cruise with you people, and so I'm on a cruise with 150 of us and we're all eating this way. And so I really have surrounded myself with people who are a lot like me. But I recently, as you guys know, added the GLP-1 to my life. Now, that community, I tried to be part of that community and I feel like I'm working on it because I really like community. I don't think we should do things alone. I think we are more successful in life if we do things together. So, but they have a lot of diet trauma, a lot of those people. And so when you say I'm carnivore, it like is really hard for them because a lot of them, because we have found that a lot of people actually need some help underneath for the conditions and the blood sugar and all the things. So a lot of them people are very, very against fasting. They're against keto. A lot of those people have so much trauma, they don't even want to track food. And so to come out and be like, I like both, and to go on some of their shows and say, I'm a carnivore, has been a little bit scary. But I think it's actually been really good. There's been times where I almost just wanted to even hide it. But I think it's most helpful to just be who we are, because it could help someone else. There could be someone out there who, yeah, you're afraid to diet, but maybe they need to eat more meat. And just hearing, hey, there is someone out there who is coupling the two together and they're feeling really good. Maybe someone out there could hear it that needed to. But yeah, I put myself out there for the criticism. And it's been going good. I mean, I have my reasons, and so I just share those openly. This is how I have the least food reactions. This is how I have the least addiction. This is how I feel the fullest. This is how I reduce my hypoglycemia. This is how I control my blood sugar. I just be sure to put out there, like, why do I eat this way and how amazing it's been for me. So I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's what it's been. I mostly hang out with you people, but I have been putting myself out there in a new community.
Okay, I was trying to unmute. No, that's that's both of your experiences, I think, are so, so important. At the end of the day, we're all surrounded by people, right? Whether you like them, you dislike them, you really dislike them, or, and so it can be tough because you are also your own person. And as your own person, you have to be able to make your own decisions that are going to benefit you. So I love those. Thank you for sharing that. Let me pull some. Josephine says, it's a very good topic. Thank you. And Barb was agreeing with you. She says, me too. I feel the same way. And then Karen was saying that she loves this community. And Josephine says, beautiful people does help. So I think that was towards us. Oh my gosh, thank you. And Bruce says, my wife calls our community my cult. And I think that's funny, but
we're happy to be part of your cult.
Yeah, you're with us. We love you, Bruce, so much. So let's go on to the next topic. Social pressure and how to handle it. This could be family gatherings, eating out, like you kind of mentioned earlier, a little bit about work, like your doctors. Oh my gosh, what are doctors thinking? And so I recently made a video on my channel where I talked about why I feed my kids carnivore or a meat-based lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. And that causes some, things that come up where it's like when you're at a restaurant, like, what do you do? Or if you're at a family function, like, are they gonna, judge you or whatever it is? And I think the best advice is that you have to be confident, but you also have to be kind, and you have to have open ears. This is something I've learned because I feel like Cristie did a live stream a while ago with Nia about being like a foghorn or a lighthouse. And that really like changed my perspective so much. And so I'm trying to be a lighthouse. That's like their analogy that they were using, but I'm trying to be kind about everything because nobody wants to even be open to your lifestyle changes if you are shoving it down their throat, right? Nobody wants to be like choked down, like, it doesn't work that way. So I think the best thing to do is just to be polite. And if they, at the end of the day, they don't get it and they're being kind of combative, it's probably best to step away from a situation or to just show by example by being like, look, in my case, look, my children are healthy, right? They go to the doctors, and they're like, they're perfect children. And I'm like, thank you. They go to the dentist, their teeth are perfect and healthy, and I'm not saying like if your kids aren't like that, it's, not a problem, but I'm just saying for us personally, it's been really, really great to have my kids and myself and my husband. We're all like just doing better in general. So Cristie, how about you? What are some common situations and how do you respond?
Yeah. So the main one that kind of hits me most of the time has to do with family gatherings. So on my mom's side of the family, it's pretty much fine because my mom is meat-based keto. So like, if she's hosting that's easy. And it's when we go to my in-laws' house. And if you guys are watching, hi, love you guys. But my mother-in-law sometimes has a hard time because she equates feeding us with loving us. And if she can't feed us dessert, she thinks that because I think she can't imagine that. And when I say we, I mean Zach and I. It's like she feels like she wants to be grandma, and if she can't feed him dessert, then she's like missing out or losing out, or he's not feeling her grandma type of love. But if you're watching again, I promise you, we enjoy going over there, and we're not feeling like we're missing out one bit by not having dessert. Sometimes he'll bring something from home, and I'll usually just have a coffee with some heavy cream, and that's like that's my dessert. And when everyone else is eating whatever they're eating, it's totally fine. I think the thing for me is I'm over feeling weird about it. Like I don't feel weird about it anymore at all. I go anywhere, a restaurant, anywhere. I don't care. Like I went to, we went out for steak for Valentine's Day, a belated Valentine's Day. I don't like to go when it's crowded, y'all. I just want to have my steak. I don't want to wait 3 hours for it. So anyways, we went to Texas Roadhouse, and I was like, I'll just have a steak. This steak, ribeye, no sides. And she's like, wait, what? No sides? Are you sure? No. I'm like, no sides. Nope. Just bring me my meat. And I didn't feel weird. I didn't turn red. I wasn't embarrassed. I wasn't nervous about saying that. Whereas in the past, I used to be, because it is different. But I'm like, just do what I ask, please. Bring me my steak with no sides. And she was a little like, what? But yeah, it was fine. So it's the same thing, at the family's house, but with that extra layer of, because she's wanting to be a good mother-in-law, she's wanting to be a good grandma, and she really does equate that, because she is a really good cook, and she equates that with making all the yummy things, for them to eat. And so when she isn't doing that, for Zach, she feels bad. And I don't feel bad because I'm not getting the dessert or he's not. I feel bad that I know she feels bad, right? So that's like the dynamic, currently. And I hope that, and if they're not having meat, I tell her, like, I'm happy to bring something. So I've brought my cheeseburger soup over there before. She was having meat that day, but I just brought it as an extra thing in the crock pot. I brought picanha over there before. Ellie, button pusher, picanha. She's looking for the button. And everybody enjoyed that picanha very much. In fact, I think they went and bought a couple of them from Walmart, because that's where I get mine after. And they really enjoyed that. So, we're working it out, but it's been 2 years of me being on the proper human diet and a year for him. And we are still, working through some of that. So it's not like a major issue, but it's a little bump in the road, I would say. But I think overall, of course, she's very happy that his symptoms seem to be improved. She sees him sitting around the kids table, the cousin table, whatever you want to call it, over there, and hears him, interacting with his cousins in ways that he didn't, before he changed his diet. So I think she does see that side of it too. The other thing is with my doctor. So probably most of you watching, because I'm seeing all the names. I need where's my crown? I'm telling you, I need a sash. I need something. So anyway, but most of you probably know this already, but oh my gosh, I had the same doctor for years and years and years and years, because I don't usually go to the doctor, but it's like in an emergency, right? You have your doctor. And so I'd been to see her maybe 5 or 6 times over, the 12 or 15 years that she was my doctor. She knows who I am, but as soon as I went carnivore, I was excited to get blood work. And little did I know that. And so I told her all about my diet. I wasn't embarrassed. She was like, what? Wait, what? She had never heard of a carnivore before. She was actually willing to reserve judgment. She was like, well, we'll just wait for the blood work and see. Cause I was like, I feel great. I have all this energy. And then the blood work came back, and I'm a lean mass hyper responder. And so my LDL, that means, if you don't know, that my LDL went way up, and we're talking over 400. My LDL was over 400. Of course, my HDL went up too. I forget what it was, in the 80s or 90s somewhere. And then my triglycerides went way down. So like my ratios were all great, but she didn't want to talk about any of that. So you could just tell, I could just tell she was very like, trained in the standard American medicine system of we got to get that LDL down. And there was a couple other numbers like my vitamin D and my thyroid that I wanted to talk about with her. And she just wouldn't. She was so concerned and worried about my LDL. And I don't think she wasn't mean. She wasn't rude. You know, she wasn't like, I'm going to fire you if you don't take the statin. But she was like, you've got to do something. You've got to get off this carnivore or you've got to get on a statin. And she wouldn't talk to me about anything else. And then that's when I went doctor shopping, and I did find a new doctor for myself. And oh my gosh, I love her. She's very pro keto. She kind of herself, she goes back and forth between keto and low carb, but any vegetables she eats, she grows herself, which I think is amazing. I know. So we were talking at my last visit. So she totally understands, you know, carnivore. She sometimes about labs, I know more than she does, even after, because just from watching all my Dr. Barry videos and things. But if I need a lab, if I want a lab, she'll do it. And then she'll ask me like, well, what does that mean? Like when you get that number, what does it mean? Because she's not trained. She hasn't gone to any of those low carb doctor, you know, certificate places or any of those type of things. But I'm going to tell her about Low Carb San Diego that's coming up this year. Maybe she'll go. Maybe she'll get some information because there's going to be some really great people there. I'm thinking about going because George Eade's going to be there, and I want to talk to her about Zach, his ADHD and his mental health, because she literally wrote the book on it. So that's coming up this year, and I'm hoping I can get her to go to that and kind of learn more from actual experts and not just a carnivore YouTuber like me. So those are some of the things, like the common situations. And it wasn't easy for me to fire my doctor. I mean, it turned out I would never have fired my doctor before getting into this carnivore community and gaining the confidence from listening to people like Dr. Barry to be like, look, your doctor's not in charge. You are, and you can fire your doctor. And I was like, you can? Like, I never knew. And so I did. And it's turned out, even though it's made me have to jump through some few extra hoops with my insurance company, but it's been the best thing because she's very, very supportive. And then anything, you know, like the extra thyroid testing and the vitamin D stuff, she was able to help me out with that. So that's mine. How about you, Adrian?
I think the biggest one is family. You know, my close family, they all know if mom or my wife doesn't eat this way, she's shaking and sweating and might have a seizure. So they are excited for me. They're happy for me. Like they know. And my parents, my dad and my stepmom, they will often either cook special just for me, or they will say, hey, this is what we would like to have. We know that's not on your menu. Could you bring something for yourself? You know, very kind to ensure that I am prepared for having the meal with them. It's when my in-laws and then my aunt and my birth mother, when they say weird things, that it's just like, you know, my mom and my aunts and my sisters, they've all heard me talk about this for years, and yet they think that a salad with seed oil on top of it and no meat is healthier than a steak. And they will talk about how, you know, oh my gosh, the cholesterol in the steak and the butter, oh my gosh, you know, and I'll say things are like, they'll say things like, oh, I'm eating all these peanuts and almonds, and I just made this protein shake out of peanuts and almonds. And I'm thinking, you know, you know, it's hard. So with them, because they've been around it for so many years, at this point, I just bite my tongue because I just don't think that the message is getting through. My in-laws, they will, like, I don't think they really like my social media very much, because I talk about this a lot, and they really just want to see pictures of the grandkids. So they think I'm really weird. So that kind of hurts my heart a little bit, but also I know that I'm doing what's best for me. Other than that, you know, yeah, I think that's, you know, mostly I feel very rooted in what I choose to do, because I know that if I don't, I'm going to be sick. And I don't want myself to be sick anymore. I want to live a life without food reactions and hypoglycemia and brain damage. So I'm very rooted and okay with people not being acceptive of what I do. And I'm just going to be the best and happiest I can be. Now, I am trying to inspire other people to eat more meat. And so, you know, I do get in actually for fun sometimes on GLP-1 groups and on hypoglycemia groups, I will start just bringing, I try not to get defensive. I try to say, did you know, and for me, this has been my situation. Do I always remain non-defensive? No, but I try, because the more defensive we are, the quicker the ears shut. And I know I feel the same way when someone tries to tell me, like recently, someone tried to tell me that I didn't need a GLP-1. I just needed to do more dry fasting coupled with lion diet. And they were trying to ram it down my throat. And I was like, but if they would have approached it and said, hey, have you tried this? Maybe you could sprinkle that into what you're already doing and see how you feel. That approach would have worked with me to, hey, yeah, that's kind of, what do you do? That sounds, and what's the science behind it? But if you put down what someone else is already doing, the ears,
Yeah, exactly. I think it's so powerful that it's like, be confident, be kind, just be happy with your choices, because we're obviously you're doing way better without brain damage, right, Adrian? You're doing way better, Cristie, without, like the intensive thoughts and, all that anxiety and food, uh, being afraid of eating and all that stuff. I'd love to throw some comments up because you guys are being so awesome and just sharing. Bar was talking about how she went to the doctor and she after going carnivore, she stopped all her meds and the inflammation was down. And he asked me what I was doing. I told him I had gone carnivore and I explained that I was only eating meat. And he said, well, what about the fiber? What about the vitamin C? And I told him we didn't need either, and he was dumbfounded, and I could tell that he thought I was nuts, but he was pretty cool. Do you guys want to share anything about that comment?
So I've told my doctor similar thing, especially the vitamin C, and talking about how, well, it competes for the same receptor as the glucose. So if you're not eating all that glucose, you don't need as much vitamin C. And it's like, when you explain it that way, that, they probably have to go look that up. So I do try to back it up with whatever evidence that I can remember. But for sure, my old doctor was very like, I'm the one trained here, not you. Like, you could totally tell. She didn't say that, but I think that was her thought process. She would know more than I would about any of that.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. And that kind of ties into the next topic that we're going to have, the science and logic behind carnivore, meat-based eating, whatever you want to call your diet. So like debunking myths in like simple terms, because people will throw these things at you, like fiber is necessary for gut health. Well, I have something with that. Like, you guys know, I struggled to go to the bathroom like my whole life. If it wasn't horrible gas that was like, all day long, and being a teenager and having to sneak, like crop dusting everywhere because you were just so uncomfortable. And when you did actually have like when I did have some kind of gas, it was so loud and explosive, and it was just like, it hurt. And then, I was on the toilet for hours and hours and hours. Then I remove all the fiber, no fiber, nothing. And I'm having they're beautiful. Wait, don't we have a banner about poop? We have a banner about poop, don't we?
We did. I don't know if it's still there. It used to say poop top.
Never mind. All right, never mind.
You say poop alert.
Yes, the poop alert. I don't know. It's gone. Okay, that's okay. It's like, so for me, fiber is a myth. Like, you don't need it. And that if you actually are eating a lot of food that are high in sugar and fiber, it actually like blocks a lot of nutrients that you're getting. And so I will defend and use my own experience to say, like, like, this is life-changing for me, not having fiber. I don't miss it. I don't need it. And I'm never going to go back to eating a lot of processed food and a lot of fiber and reverse all the healing I've done for my gut. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, you can, unfortunately I don't have a picture, but you can go back to my earliest videos. My skin was a mess, and I'd say it's like 85-90% better. And I think it's taken a long time, almost 2 years on carnivore, just to get to this point, because it was just so bad. So that's kind of like a myth that has that I would debunk by using my own story. Cristie, how about you?
Yeah, I would like to second that myth, although I never had any digestive issues, none. But then so I wasn't like, I got to get my fiber. Like my dad totally, Aaron put this comment, good evening, everyone. Good old Metamucil filled with so much lead. Oh, my dad would like take the glass of Metamucil every day. I was a kid, but clearly he was having problems and he thought that fiber would handle it. I didn't have anything like that, but I switched. I've been on a no fiber diet for almost 2 years and I have no issues. So, not needed. I agree. The myth that I would like to talk about, just because it's actually fascinating to me, is that eating meat is bad for the environment. So once again, here I am, just a carnivore YouTuber, not an expert, but this topic is fascinating to me. And I've watched every video that I've seen people do, like especially Peter Ballerstedt is like the expert. He's a forage agronomist, and this is what he does, is he thinks about and knows about, cows in the environment, protein and how we get it, what all of the emissions are doing, and basically, and other people too. So one thing to think about is that the number of cows in the United States right now roughly equals the number of wild buffalo that used to roam the plains. So like, it's the same number of ruminant animals. Like we're not now. Those big feedlots and all of that, that's one of the reasons I bought from the local rancher, because I don't think that it's necessarily ethical to treat cows that way. But you have roughly the same number of animals that, then and now. It's just that in the old days, they were roaming free on the plains, which good for them. And I wish that there was more regenerative agriculture. I actually did an interview on my channel with some regenerative farmers that, have cows and sheep and pigs, and they're raised regeneratively, and talking about how it actually gives back to the soil. Like their farm that they bought was dead. Like you couldn't have grazed anything there. And just like they had to buy like hay and stuff for the cows to graze on, but then letting them do their thing and poop and pee and all of that in the pasture. Now their fields are almost to the point where they can like now sustain the cows without having to buy them any hay or feed or anything, except for, in the colder months. So it's pretty amazing that they actually, without those ruminants. And then I also interviewed Dr. Zoe Harcombe. That is a fantastic interview that I did, or watch mine or her interview with anyone else. She talks about the topsoil and how it used to be feet thick, and now we're down to like inches thick. And if we don't do something, it's going to be gone, like within just a few harvests. And like the thing we can do is more ruminant animals grazing on the land, because that's what regenerates that topsoil. The scary part for me that she was saying is, right? Tinfoil hat alert. They want to grow plants like in a greenhouse with no soil. And just, they're going to control what they put in those, in those containers that the plants are growing in. And it's going to be whatever faux nutrients they want to sprinkle in there. It's just crazy to me when we have a beautiful planet, and it can, as long as we treat the planet correctly, it can all be done in a regenerative fashion that actually helps, not hinders the environment. Peter Ballerstedt will talk about how the emissions from the cows, I don't have this all memorized, but they're like way overestimating, because actually it's like this whole cycle and they're not actually putting all this harmful gas into the atmosphere. So go find he's done several videos. He doesn't have his own channel, but he goes to all the low carb conferences. And so if you go to like Low Carb USA, things like that, you can find videos that he has done. And he will explain it to you from like the sciencey point of view. But it's kind of just very odd that they have chosen almost that one thing to focus on. And the last thing I'll say is, when I was flying to Hack Your Health last time, or on the way home, I think it was, I was sitting next to a man whose wife, he still ate meat, but his wife was a vegan. And he was very much like on that, like, well, isn't that bad for the environment? Right. And so he's telling me, but all that meat that you're eating is so bad. But like, and then he's telling me, I said, oh, really? Well, what does she eat? And he's telling me about all the frozen foods they buy that are like vegan, so they have to be good for you. So we're talking like processed food. And I'm like, I didn't say it because I don't want to be combative on a plane. But I'm thinking, really, like that was made in a factory. How much pollution do you think that's producing, sir? I didn't say it out loud. I thought it in my head. I'll say it here though for you guys.
And the shipping.
You know, yeah, making all that fake meat, like the fake meat in the factory, not only does it look disgusting and it's a little scary, all the ingredients, but you know, the pollution that those factories are putting out, you know, to make that stuff that's nowhere near healthy is the real thing. So that's my myth. I would love to debunk it, but go look at some experts. Like I said, Peter Ballerstedt's your guy. He'll give it to you all straight, and he's the scientist that really knows the facts and information. Adrian, do you have any good myths to talk about?
So the first one is just the obvious one, which is, well, where do you get all your nutrients? You know, and then I just love that show Alone, where anybody who cannot source meat is medically evacuated because they become so sick and malnourished because they could not source meat. And I don't believe any vegan has ever won that show, as they try to eat plants and they continually get poisoned eating the plants, and then the lack of nutrition. All the nutrition is in the meat, like all the meats that we need. I do think we probably need game and fish to be optimal, or game and eggs. You know, we need multiple things, and so meat has all the bioavailable nutrients that we need, and I love it. And then I kind of really like the poop discussion, so I wanted to go back to that for a second. They say fiber is crucial for digestion because it acts as a source of beneficial gut bacteria, which produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. And this helps energy. It's an energy source for the cells lining the colon. Okay, so basically we need the butyrate to promote healthy digestion. However, did you know that butyrate is in dairy? So specifically butter and cheese. And butyrate is also the primary ketone in the body is called beta hydroxybutyrate.
Yep.
So we don't need fiber. And for me too, I had been prior to carnivore, chronically constipated for at least 10 years, told more plants, more plants, more plants. I'm getting more and more constipated. I cannot poop. My gut is completely distended. Every time I would visit my husband who was traveling on the road, I would eat raw veggies on the way. And every single time I would get that hot, awful, stinky gas. And then I could not sleep in the same room as him because all night long it would just not go away. And I would literally get on my hands and knees and try to just like work it out, like just get out, like just let it all out, blow a fan out the window or something, just get it all out. But it just kept producing and producing and producing endlessly, this awful, awful gas. Recently, we were in a grocery store and we have this ongoing joke because back in those days, we were shopping at TJ Maxx and I was walking in an aisle before him. I tooted, I kept walking, one of the hot farts. And the person that was walking behind him looked at Tyler and went, and blamed my husband for my gas. So to this day, we have this joke of, so we were in Walmart the other day and he starts whistling at me like that. And I'm like, what? I eat meat now, you know? And it was this homeless guy behind him gassing the whole area. It was not me. It's not me anymore. It's not me anymore. In fact, I think I fart about once a month now. And my poop is wonderful. It's just so glorious and life is good. We do not need fiber. It makes life worse.
Great job, ladies. This is why when we come together, I feel like there's magic because you guys are the brains and I just push buttons. So I'm so glad.
Yeah,
I wasn't even ready.
The heart, Ellie, you're the heart. You're the heart.
I'm the heart. Thank you. I appreciate that. So that was, I want to put up Jazzy Jude's comment. I save oodles of money not buying veggies and fruits. And with that money, you eat more meat and eggs. Yum. Exactly. Oh, thanks, Bruce. I didn't even mean to click that. Thank you. That's God telling me to be nice to myself. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the next category. Sharing like real stories from like carnivore women that we know, and how convenient, like we have a show all about showcasing carnivore women, right? So I thought I'm going to go a little bit off script here. I think it would be great to talk about any like carnivore women that you find inspirational, that you enjoy watching, and if there's anything that maybe you've learned from them, or it's just pure entertainment or educational. I think that my favorite two ladies, number one is Courtney Luna, because Courtney Luna, with I don't even have her cookbook. I was supposed to grab it. Her cookbook has like saved my ass. I'm cursing. She saved my thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Mine's in the
Why
kitchen.
do I have a copy of this right here? I was just reading it.
That's awesome. It's literally saved my butt so many times, because I feel like, when you have kids, they want to they are, we're talking about like TV shows and stuff. They're always talking about veggies are good for you. You should eat the rainbow. That's my little kid voice. And and it's like, or I want to eat ice cream. I want to eat pizza. And it's like, okay, but we eat this way. And I have this whole conversation with them, and I'm very open and honest with them. And so I feel like her cookbook and just her vibe in general, she's just like, I'm doing this thing. Follow along. You don't have to like me. I'm confident with what I'm doing. I've been through, so much crap. And I want to be more like Courtney. I want to be more like Courtney. And her book has really, really helped me. Another person that I think has always inspired me, but has kind of become more of a forefront, is Bella from Steak and Butter Gal. She has been so kind to me privately. And if you guys don't know, I am a part of her community. I recently joined her team on the SBG site, and I go on there and I co-host the open chats, which is just a place where everyone can come on a Zoom call and we just chat for 2 hours and we just talk about what we're going through in life. And so it's not all about the meat necessarily with those conversations. And it's just so nice to like hear that these people are real and they're healing and they're doing so great. But Bella has just shown me so much kindness, and she's a real leader. Like seriously, like I can't believe like I'm in the same, room with her and everybody else in the SBG team. So those are two carnivore ladies that have really been helping me and making me feel confident. Would you guys ladies like to share? How about you, Cristie?
Okay, if you say you guys, I'm good with it. I just thought of like four or five. So I'm not gonna. It's so many, right? Like you're talking, and I'm thinking of more and more and more. So the first one that came to mind for me was Anita, the ketogenic woman. And that's because I found her channel actually when I went keto and I had no clue what I was doing. And I'm so glad I did, because she's been doing this proper human diet thing for so long. And I found her because I was looking for keto recipes, because like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. But her more recent work, she's really focused on like meat-based. When her keto recipes, she was meat-based keto and like clean ingredient keto. And then she transitioned to carnivore. So, and I met her, and she was one of the first like big channels that I reached out to when I first started my channel, and I was super nervous. And she was like, sure, I'd love to come on and talk to you. And we did a couple projects together, and it was just so heartwarming because I really look up to her. She's like kind of like Mr. Rogers, and I mean that in the best way, because she's just so like kind and warm. And I totally used to watch Mr. Rogers when I was a kid, and I love that show. She just reminds
my kids watch it now.
Yeah,
just letting you know he's still alive.
Yeah. In their hearts. So yeah, anyway, and then to meet her in real life and realize like she is just as friendly and warm and nice in real life. Like she just like kind of took me under her wing, and like it was really cool because she was just so down to earth in that way. And then I'm not even really sure who to say next, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Robin, the carnivorous grandma. I love all the different series that she has on her channel. She's been on our show, Lioness Lifestyle, a couple of times. We've done a lot of different live streams together, including my favorite one. We did a couple of installments of mother-daughter duos where she and her mom, and then me and my mom had a conversation about diet and health, and the intergenerational discussion about how food was when our moms were young versus when they were raising us, versus now, kind of a thing. I mean, it was just really cool. And I got to meet her in real life too. And like I said, I have so many more, but I don't want to take all the time. So or steal any of Adrian's awesome carnivore ladies. So I'm gonna let Adrian talk.
You didn't steal mine.
Okay, good.
Mine are the best. This could be a whole segment of favorite carnivore ladies. I'm going to start with Laura Lynch. I think she's been on our channel. She just turned 70. She's freaking ripped. And not only is she ripped, she's full of energy. I think she has more energy than I do. I would not be surprised if she could do cartwheels. Like, she bounces. She's just so full of life, so full of brain. If you guys know anybody out there, I think the perfect age for her would be about 50. A man about 50 who also eats meat. I don't know if a 70-year-old male could ever keep up with her. I mean, she is 70 going on 45, maybe 35. I mean, have you guys seen her arms? It is crazy. She's amazing. Next would be Mrs. Karen Miles. She is truly a carnivore. I mean, behind the scenes and in real life, she is an absolute carnivore. And not only that, she wants to inspire people to be healthier. And she works it and she shares. She does the best meetups in the whole wide world, and it doesn't have to cost you a dime to go. She wants to make sure anybody who needs community can come, and it is a damn good time. And she smiles, and her saying is, make it a great day. I mean, how much better can it get than the reminder of, it's up to you today to make it a great day. I love Karen. I want to hug her right now. I could go on. I love Cindy Vonk. I love Tammy Reichert, and I love Carnivore Doctor. She has pushed me to do hard things, and I needed to do some of those hard things to be where I am today. And she inspires me too, because she gets so many carnivores together. And that's so important to me, to not feel alone, is to have that community. And she really works. That was her number one thing, is the meetups and getting people together. And she just constantly inspires me to be better and do better. And she's willing to help other people in the process. So those are some of the people. Maria Emmerich is wonderful. You just gush on and on and on.
Oh, so great. There's so much love in this, I was going to say hypothetical room. I don't know, internet room. There's just so much love, and seeing all the comments. If anybody I mentioned that was on the show previously, I just threw them out. I was like, here's a link. Here's a link. Here's a link. So,
Can I cut you off?
Yeah, talk,
This
please.
entire episode, I've been sitting here thinking, and I always say her name wrong, but I'm not going to. I freaking miss and love Alia, and I think we should have her on the show. And I wish she was our fourth host, because I love her so much. And oh my gosh, how could we not say Nia?
I know.
How dare us not bring up Nia?
I know. It's just too many amazing people, male or lion or lioness. There's just so many amazing people, and it's really tough to pick, someone to just shout out. But yeah, we love everybody
on that one.
I know, that's a great idea, definitely. So we definitely want to ask our viewers, hi lionesses and lions, if you have any questions about any of the topics that we've been talking about, or you've been putting comments about what you've been dealing with, feel free to put them in the comments so we can throw them up there and we can chat. We have about 10 minutes left of the show, so feel free to throw those up there if you can. I was thinking, how about we talk a little bit about just a few minutes each, what's going on with our channels, and share. So lately I've been really working on my editing. I'm working on my editing, and I'm trying to make things more sound effects and more transitions, and just to make it feel more like me, because I feel like my channel, if you guys don't know, it's Nourishment Redacted down there. I feel like it's a place. It's like my diary. It's like my place. Alyssa's here. I would have to say hi. Hi, Alyssa. Hi. Okay. I feel like my channel is a place where I can really share my heart, and I can share what I've been through, the ups and the downs, and sometimes social, like people in my social sphere, although they are very loving and kind, they're not ready to hear that, or they don't want to hear it, or I don't feel comfortable telling them these things, you know? And so I'm going to work on more cooking, things I'm making for my family. I just filmed a video of me testing out Courtney Luna's pizza recipe. Maybe that's why she's on my mind. And she uses like a microwave in hers, but I made an alternate version of it where I use the stovetop to combine the dough. So I hope that will be helpful for someone who doesn't like to use a microwave like me. Tinfoil hat. There, just real quick. And yeah, so I'm hoping to just continue to keep growing and sharing and have more gratitude and take you guys along with me. And that's kind of where I want to go with my channel. And obviously Carnivore is a part of that. How about you, Cristie?
Sorry, I was debating if I had enough time to answer Mike because he was mentioning Carrie at My Metamorphosis. I'm like, yes, Carrie. She was like, I did my first live stream ever with Carrie. She was another one that was like, here's how you do a live stream. Taught me, showed me the ropes. So I do appreciate her. Okay, anyways. My channel, you guys, I've been taking a little bit of a break recently because it's just exhausting. Teaching all day. I have well over 300 videos in my channel, and my channel's been around for just over a year. So you can see the pace at which I have been posting up until about Christmas. It was exhausting. I've been mostly taking a break. I have done a few videos recently. Notable videos include my recent, it was over my Christmas break, but I did an interview with Dr. Andrea Salcedo. She's the conscious gynecologist. She's been on Lioness Lifestyle. And oh boy, did I ask her some great questions. I even learned more from her. It was just a great talk. So if you're interested in that, she talks about women's health and meat-based eating. It was just great. It was a great interview, in my opinion. So that was one that I've done more recently. I also Adrian was so nice because I was like, Adrian, I'm just not posting. And she's like, we'll go live. And so just last week, she and I did a live stream, which actually turned into a video that we had to edit for reasons.
I still gotta go edit that. Thank you for the reminder. They haven't taken it down.
Shocking.
The booty, the little boy booty ran by. Her little boy came in the room and he wasn't fully clothed or wasn't clothed at all. I edited mine and I took the live version down, but all I did was chop off the end so that wasn't visible because I didn't, whatever. I didn't know if YouTube would get mad at me. But we had a great, great talk about meat-based eating and kids. And we talked about, all the ways that how we did that, how we agree, Mike. Anyways, how we started to feed our kids meat, how it's going now, what changes we've noticed in our kids, what happens when a kid doesn't cooperate with eating meat, and all of that kind of stuff. And so that is something that I just did the other day. Barb Harrell, who is watching now, was so sweet, and she messaged me on Instagram to say that she would be watching tonight. And Barb, I have seen you in the comments, so hi, Barb, nice to see you. And she's like, but I miss Meeting Wellness and just your videos. You're one of my favorites, and we want you to know how much you're loved. I mean, it was like the sweetest message that I got from her. And so the first thing I did when I got home, Barb, is I made a short. So I know it's not a full-length video, but I was like, what can I do today for Barb? And so I was out of picanha today, and it was very sad. And so I made a little short showing what I made for dinner when I had no picanha left in my fridge. It was delicious. So that is my most recent, but I am thinking about doing this one. So Karen just posted this idea. She says, Cristie, you need to teach a class on label reading. Oh my gosh, Karen. Okay. Maybe I'll turn that into a video. I thought, what a fantastic idea. I also saw an idea. Have any of you guys ever heard of cream eggs? Because you know me and my cooking videos. I am not a cook or a chef, but I will make a cooking video and you could decide for yourself if it's something you want to try. But I saw this recipe for cream eggs and I thought, okay, I got to try that. So be looking for I haven't done it yet, but be looking for my cream egg video. because I thought that looks delicious and I want to give it a try. It's like using cream kind of as a substitute for butter when you cook the eggs. And I was like, sounds delicious. Thank you. Yes, Walmart burgers. I stopped buying most of my meat from Walmart because a lot of it has like added ingredients. Like it'll say like whatever, like other stuff. It's not just beef, but their frozen beef patties are still like $12.99 for 12 of them. It's 80/20 and it's 100% beef. And then the picanha as well. It's just beef, no natural flavors. So those are the two things that I do still get and enjoy from Walmart. So I do have a couple of videos I'm thinking about. I just need to like get back into the routine of recording and as Ellie said, editing. Ellie, I did notice your editing game was on point. I watched your latest video. Good job, girl. How about you, Adrian? What you got going on over there at Adrian K. Gledhill?
I could just cry telling you this. So it's been on my heart for a couple of years knowing that I was going to need to go back to work. But it's, it's kind of hard on this mama's heart who's been a stay-at-home mom. And how do you make that transition? And I've been a working mom before, and my kids spent a lot of time in daycare. And I don't know. And so I've been praying on it. And I also want to help people. And I feel like combining carnivore and maybe a GLP and helping people with that is something that I can do. And so I started a free Facebook group, Eat Meat, Lift Heavy GLP group. We have almost 500 people in it. And then we're switching over to a community. It's going to be on a website called radicallyhealthy.com. If you go there now, it's a little bit gibberish, but I think in the next week or two, the website's going to launch. And we've been having group meetings. And so I'm really, really feeling really a lot of gratitude to God for getting to help people. And I think that people really are feeling better. They really are feeling better. And I would be grateful to get to help people do that. So on the channel, we had Make America Picanha again. That's good. On the channel, I had my husband on there. So if you guys are ever wondering, like, who's Mr. Gledhill? Well, he came live with me this Saturday, and that was a lot of fun. And then today I interviewed Maria and Craig Emmerich. So that's going to be posted, I think, this weekend. So yeah, that's what we have going on and then I'm really kind of starting a campaign of, carnivore wasn't all my weight loss hopes and dreams, but there is no doubt in the whole entire world, it is the only known treatment for a condition I've been struggling with for 10 years, which is reactive hypoglycemia post-bariatric surgery. And so I'm just trying to share that message because there's so many people out there suffering. And when they go to the doctor, they're told to eat every hour and eat sugar pills. And they're being given horrible advice that's making them more sick and causing brain damage and seizures and this never ending roller coaster. And people feel like they just don't even want to live anymore because the condition is so debilitating. And so it's just so awful and it's hard to get off of it. But carnivore is the best known treatment for that condition. And so I'm also out there spreading that message of there's hope. There is hope and you can get off of it and feel better. So that's what I've been up to.
I appreciate this comment from Jazzy Jude so much that I took over Ellie's job as button pusher, although I'm sure she was probably about to push that button. She says, you ladies are awesome. No, she yells with extreme excitement. You ladies are awesome. I'm loving all your channels. It helps me keep going and live the education you all share. Maybe she meant love. Maybe she meant live. She just helps us it helps her live her life. I love it. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. That gives me some impetus to get off my little break here and get to making some more videos for you guys. Thank you.
All right. Wow. This was such a fun episode. I don't know. I feel like I said kind of earlier, I feel like the three of us are magic and I appreciate your friendship so much. I appreciate everybody watching. If you're watching the replay, feel like we haven't done it yet, but there's a 4-letter word that you need to say. Okay. So I would love for you to type the word roar down in the comments if you're watching the replay to let us know that you made it to this far in the video so we can personally thank you for sticking it out with us. Is there anything that you ladies want to say or share? I'm done with the script. So if you guys wanted to share anything right before we roar.
So I want to say that these episodes, these whatever we're calling them, we need a good lioness themed name, but like these roundtable episodes, which we need to think of a lioness name for, are turning out to be some of my favorite episodes. So I think it was Ellie. I don't know who thought of it, but thank you whoever thought of it because I'm having so much fun doing these with you ladies. Although I love having our, the weekly guests as well. That's our main point of the show is to, as Ellie says at the beginning, showcase a carnivore or meat-based woman. And I love doing that, but I'm having so much fun taking a topic and just talking it out with you guys and our wonderful audience that comments in the chat, and they just make it, because it's like the same wonderful people, coming back, and we are just making this great little community here, and I'm just loving it. So thanks everybody, lionesses, and everyone, lions and lionesses that are watching the show as well.
Yeah, should I count down the roar? But I can't
Yes.
touch the buttons because I'm using my phone because my computer's not working.
Okay.
All right.
Wait,
And then Bruce, be sure that your wife sees my last video. It's specifically about reactive hypoglycemia. All right.
Okay.
Are everybody ready to roar? 3, 2, 1.
Roar! I feel so empowered every time we do that. All right, I'm gonna do my thing. We have Aaron. Roar. Oh, let me take that up. Sorry. I'm ruining the flow. Sorry, everyone. It's hard being button pusher sometimes. We have Eric. Thank you.
Yes.
You guys read it. I feel awkward doing it.
Roar, 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 the Picanha boat. And Karen Harrington says, roar. Thank you, Karen. Hear us roar. Yes.
Oh, I like
That's the
that
most
one.
roars we've ever had.
Thank you, Miss E. Roar. Take care,
Karen's
Karen. That's from me. Roar, everybody. Roar. Thanks, Mike.
We have so
Roar,
many.
Pixel Meow Roar. She was meowing during the show. I was like, mute the microphone. Yes, we've got lots of roars. A roar with a lion emoji. Yes, thank you, Barb. And thank you for the meow. I love a good meow, everybody. All right. Well, Adrian, did you want to say something before I sign us off?
We could really use some inspiration. If there are some guests that you would love to see, please let us know.
Let us know. Yeah,
Or a topic you want us to talk about.
Yeah, but we need to go into recruiting mode. But I believe we have a really awesome guest for next week who is actually watching right now. So I'm ready to talk to her next week. So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, to Lioness Lifestyle Live. Next week, Ellie's giving you a sneak peek of who our guest is going to be. We will have none other than Erin, aka Booby Goats, to chat with us about her carnivore experience. Looking forward to doing that. And we will see you all again next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. I always have to say my time zone. Or if you live where Ellie lives, it's 8 p.m. If you live where Adrian lives, it's 7 p.m. So check us out, and we will catch you next time. Bye, everybody.